Coming up next on BG24 Sports.
The men's and women's basketball team took the court for exhibition games this weekend, and the Falcons gave the fans a preview of what to expect for the upcoming season.
The men's hockey team hosted the Alaska Seawolves in a 2-game series, and the Falcons tried to keep their undefeated home record intact.
And the women's volleyball team hosted Miami Redhawks on Halloween. What sweet tricks did the Falcons use in looking for a win? We'll have all that and more right here on BG24 Sports.
It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Good evening, I'm Gary Galbraith.
And I'm Christy Kopanis. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Bowling Green State University men's basketball team hosted the Malone Pioneers on Saturday. The Pioneers came to the Stroh for an exhibition game. Early in the contest, the game was tied at 9. The Falcons went on a 17-1 run and never looked back. BGSU had 22 fast break points and a whopping 50 in the paint. 5 players scoring double figures as the Falcons rolled to an 87-60 victory. The Orange and Brown start their regular season Saturday when the Earlham Quakers come into town.
Following the men's game, the women's basketball team also opened exhibition play. The Falcons welcomed the Tiffin Dragons to the Stroh. BGSU dominated from the start, taking an early 18-2 lead. The Falcons took advantage of all their opportunities, scoring 27 points off turnovers and 30 fast break points. 8 different players hit three-pointers. BGSU made 14 in the game. The Falcons easily won the game 91-48. And this weekend, the women's team travels to New Rochelle, New York for the Iona Tip-Off Tournament.
BGSU ice hockey team competed in a doubleheader over the weekend. The Falcons played the University of Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. Reporter Katie Wernke took in all the action on Friday's game.
The Falcon hockey team took the stage Friday night in their first conference matchup of the season. For the first time since 1988, BGSU battled against the University of Alaska Anchorage, marking the start of WCHA conference play. The game was a physical one as both teams racked up the penalties, giving the Falcons and Seawolves many chances on the power plays. BG utilized those chances, scoring half of their goals on the power play, while UAA was able to hit the net only once. The Falcons would end up scoring 6 goals that night, dominating offensively over Alaska Anchorage. BG had 5 different scorers in the game, including Bryce Williamson, who was first in the WCHA for scoring. The goal Friday also gave him his 5th consecutive score in a game. BG saw Andrew Wallace, Chad Sumption, and Ben Murphy also score, while Cam Watala made his scoring debut of the season with 2 goals. Defensively, goalie Tommy Burke was nearly perfect, stopping 19 of 20 shots, while the offense was able to take 31 shots at the opposite side. The win Friday carried the Falcons to a winning record and a good start in the WCHA.
After coming off an impressive 6-1 victory, the Falcons went into Saturday's game hoping to maintain their undefeated home record. Reporter Terry Lash has more on the game.
The Falcon hockey team was in action Saturday night as they took on the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves in the second part of a home-and-home to start WCHA conference play this year. The game was a low-scoring affair that saw freshman keeper Thomas Scholl in complete control of the net. Thomas got the shutout after recording 16 saves over 3 periods of play, including a one-on-one breakaway in the second period. The game's only score came in the first period when Dan DeSalvo took a Rouse Freiberg pass and deked his way past the Seawolf defenders until he found Brent Tate, who scored on the one-timer. The Falcons' stellar D helped them secure the 1-0 shutout. Head coach Chris Bergeron spoke at the post-game press conference.
We're excited about the win, and we're not ever taking a win for granted, not with what we've been through. We've played well and lost in the past, and tonight we didn't play well and we won. We found a way to win, and I think that's a sign of a good team.
The Falcons hockey team is on the road next weekend as they travel to Mankato to take on the Minnesota State Mavericks.
Swimming took it south this past weekend to take on Miami and Xavier in the first back-to-back meet of the season. Friday night, the Falcons were up against MAC rival Miami University. The Redhawks beat the Falcons 179 to 111. Saturday was a different story as the Falcons flew over Xavier, defeating the Muskies 171 to 89. BGSU won 10 of its 14 events, and freshman Victoria Griffin remained undefeated in the 100 freestyle. That victory earned her Pizza Hut Athlete of the Week honors. The Falcons got their first win of the season. They are now 1-2 overall and 0-2 in the MAC. BGSU is back in the pool Friday against Oakland University.
Besides earning the Pizza Hut Athlete of the Week, Griffin also was named MAC Swimmer of the Week. She has combined 5-0 record for the 100 and 200 meter freestyle for the year.
The men's soccer team competed at Western Michigan on Saturday. A Broncos free kick late in the first half resulted in a goal, and the Falcons could not bounce back in the second half. Western Michigan won that match 1-0. BGSU drops to 5-7-5 overall and 2-2-1 in the MAC. The Falcons face IPFW at home tomorrow at 7 p.m. Then on Friday, BGSU heads to West Virginia University for a crucial MAC match. If the Falcons win, they earn a berth into the MAC tournament. With a BGSU loss or tie, West Virginia punches their ticket to the MAC tournament.
In celebration of Halloween, the Stroh Center had trick-or-treat night Thursday for the volleyball game. BGSU student athletes of all sports were giving candy to trick-or-treaters. Elementary and middle school children dressed up in a costume received free admission and free candy. The kids enjoyed the game, but BG students got excited about the game. The Falcons came out with 2 hard-fought wins in the first 2 sets, winning 25-22 and 25-23. Then, BGSU pulled out the win in 5 sets, winning the match 3-2. BGSU meets up again this weekend to take on Ohio University and Kent State at the Stroh.
Both men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the MAC championships on Saturday. Jason Saller finished in 6th place. That earned him the first team MAC honors, and this was the first time in 18 years that a BG men's runner won that honor. And men finished 9th place overall, and the women finished in 6th.
Later in the show, Chrissy and I will look at some big games coming up for the Falcons. We'll discuss the keys to victory.
And our team of reporters is here to preview the weekend in professional sports.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining Chrissy and I are reporters Katie Wernke, Adam King. We're going to discuss some professional football. And we're going to start with the 9-0 Chiefs. Are the Chiefs for real? Like, are they?
I don't think so. I think they'll find a loss eventually this season. I think the Broncos, I mean, they play them twice. I think they'll definitely. The Chiefs aren't going to go undefeated. When has a team gone undefeated?
Yeah, their upcoming schedule is pretty rough. So I think they get a couple losses within the next 4 weeks.
The thing I see with the Chiefs, and that really drives me crazy, they do have a top 3 running back in Jamal Charles, which is always a nice thing to have. Their defense, it's the #1 defense in the league in terms of scoring, but it's the number 20 defense in the league in terms of yards allowed. That doesn't hold up. To me, that spells out a lot of good luck, maybe making a couple plays at the right time. Mm-hmm. You don't win the game between the 20s. You do win the game in the red zone, but it's really tough to go to bed at night and sleep easy with the Chiefs, knowing that they're giving up yards and giving up the field all day long.
Their defense is outstanding, but I don't think they're going to stay undefeated, with coming up with the Broncos, and I don't think so. But we'll see. And the Browns, impressive win over the Ravens, 24-18. How do you guys take on that?
I was really excited about the Browns. Jason Campbell continues to look good. The guy's shown up again for the 2nd straight week. He's not forcing anything. He's managing the game well. It was really impressive to me to see him move the offense, especially in a game where both teams really struggled to find yardage on the ground. But you just see he spreads the ball around, and even Devon Bess had a great game for redemption. Last week he was a problem. This week he was the hero with 2 touchdown catches. So really a big day for him to get back involved.
Yeah.
I think the Browns too. I mean, they're 2nd in the AFC North, just behind the Bengals. What happened? I mean, compared to last year, I mean, the Browns are 2nd in the division, and but just the Ravens too. I mean, the Ravens are just above the Steelers. So it's interesting to say the least.
Browns fans are definitely happy with the way things are going.
Yep, and there's still a possibility that the Browns can make the AFC the wild card, or even still win the division, because Cincinnati's up there, and the Browns can Catch up.
The rest of their schedule coming up is really favorable if you're a Browns fan. You've got two games against the Steelers. The two tough games you have that might be losses on that schedule is you're going to see the Patriots on the road and you're going to see the Bengals again at the road. So those are two tough games, but other than that, you see Jacksonville, you see Pittsburgh twice. Yeah. It looks good. It's favorable.
I mean, the Bengals are kind of hot this year, but they did just lose to Miami. True. So I think the Browns could take that one later in the season, and I think they could take the division too.
But you know what? I think finding a quarterback for the Browns is key, because I feel like if Brian Hoyer or Jason Campbell would have started the season, then their record would have been totally different. You know, the Browns would have been actually decent. So
yeah, now with a consistent quarterback, or like when they have that, then they can finally just settle in and finish the rest of the season strong.
All right. Well, we just talked about two of the teams, the Patriots and the Steelers. 55 points on the Steelers?
Oh, I mean, that's the most points. I'm excited. That is the most points that an NFL team has scored against the Steelers in their history. Tom Brady, 432 yards. Woo. Rob Gronkowski, 134 of those yards with a touchdown. I mean, they have Danny Amendola back. I mean, they have Gronk. We got to see the Gronk spike. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to love that. That was just incredible. I mean, total offensively, they had 610 yards against the Steelers. That is the Patriots. That's the usual Patriots.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
I mean, if you were going to write this as a book or even a headline in one of those New England papers, the headline would be, "What a difference a Gronk makes." I mean, it's been fantastic. The guy came in, and you can really see how much he opens up the field for the rest of that team. I think you need to mention, though, at the same time, this is not a mom and dad Steelers. This is a worn-down Steelers team. Ben Roethlisberger is he looks flustered. He has nothing going on. He has no line to work with at all. I mean, you want to talk about teams without a running back. I'm not taking anything away from the Patriots. Like I said, they got Gronk back, and it was business as usual for Tom Brady, and it was fantastic to see, because we want to see those quality teams come out and play well. I mean, you have expectations with Tom Brady, and you want to see things happen. And it was nice to see that happen on Sunday.
One thing I am surprised, though, is that the Patriots gave up 31 points to the Steelers. And that's, I mean, they need to work on their defense if they want to make it far into the playoffs. Because I think it's probably safe to say they'll win the AFC East. The AFC East. And I think, they just got to push through the playoffs. They got to work on their defense. Their offense is getting better. But I think they will be a team to beat this year.
So can you say Tom Brady is a candidate for MVP? Can you say that?
I definitely think when he's supported, I mean, he's got the guys back, he's got Gronk back, he's got Amendola back. When there's a healthy team, they make him look very good.
You could make the case. I mean, it's Tom Brady, but with the things you're seeing around the league this year, it's Peyton Manning hands down. I don't even know how you could argue that. That's a team that they're looking at a clean slate. Not just 7-2, and hey, we finally got things back together. I mean, that's a freight train of a football team.
You did see, though, how Tom Brady made wide receivers out of Aaron Dobson and Campbell Tompkins. Yeah. So he takes these no-name receivers and makes them into something, and that's what Peyton Manning can do the same thing. Yep. That's what a good quarterback does.
Turning nobodies into somebodies. Yep. That's very key. And well, guys, our time has run out, but stay right there. We'll be right back to discuss the start of the NBA season. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. We are joined by reporters Tim Cernko and Jackie Elliott. We're going to jump right into some NBA action. First, with the 0-3 Celtics. Who would have thought they were 0-3?
I mean, it's crazy. Like, the Celtics were such a dominant team last year. Now, coming into this season, they're 0-3. They have a lot to work on. They lost their coach. They lost 2 of their star players. Rajon Rondo's still out. I mean, it's a lot for them right now.
I mean, definitely. It's hard when you lose a leadership of that quality with Kevin Garnett and the fact that Rajon Rondo's out. I mean, when you lose your leaders on the court, there's nobody who you can turn to in a clutch situation like that. So they're looking at really what was their bench last season, and now they're asking them to step up and perform, which that's a daunting task if you really think about that.
Yeah, Jackie, you were talking about they have a lot to work on with using different guys. What are some of the things that you think that to get a win the Celtics need to do?
Well, I think the Celtics need to work on being more of a team. I think that they need to try and figure out guys' roles on the team now, especially losing key guys and waiting on Rondo to come back. He was, he's their floor general, so waiting on him, they have to find somebody who can come in and take that spot. Maybe not necessarily be him, but they have to have somebody that can run the floor for him. So that's what I think.
With a couple more games, I think that they can gel better.
And my philosophy is it's still early in the season.
Right.
It's only 3 games in. Yeah. They, like Tim and Jackie said, they did lose Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, but their coach, that's big, change of system. And they just don't have absolutely no one on the team. I mean, Jason Terry, that's about it.
Courtney
He's
Lee.
older.
Yeah. So, but it's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early.
Well, opposite of the Celtics, the 3-0 Sixers.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really expected Michael Carter-Williams to come in and do what he's doing right now. I mean, he's averaging 20 points a game, 9 assists per game. I mean, he's doing everything that the Sixers need him to do. He's stepping up in clutch situations, elevating his game to which is why they're 3-0 pretty much.
Yeah, NBA.com said, or asked, if they're going to go to the playoffs. Do you think at 3 games in, it's too early, or do you think that that's a legitimate question to ask?
It's way too early. I mean, yes, the first 3 games of the season, you want to see your team come out and do great, and the Celtics have done great, but you also have to look at who they've played so far. They played Orlando, who's been struggling for years now. They really don't have a team. They played Minnesota, which, I mean, they're playing great basketball right now as well. But, I mean, you also have to look, like I said, you have to look at the team, the caliber of teams that they're playing. So they haven't really played anybody that's going to give them a run for their money, like the Clippers or, a tough team like that. So I think that's definitely something to look at.
And I understand at the same time that it's early, but it's great that they're getting the start right now. I mean, if they do end up faulting at some point in their season, they have a good amount of wins to fall back on. And they are playing terrific basketball. I mean, their passing's great. Michael Carter-Williams was always criticized in college for his shooting. He's pretty much making half the shots that he shoots. So, I mean, if they keep on playing team basketball and doing the things that they need to win, they're going to have a great start to the season.
They did beat the Heat. No,
they did.
They beat the Heat. And but the 76ers, I don't know if they're for real, but we'll see if they're for real tonight playing Golden State. So that's
another
big.
good team.
That's big.
Yeah, another team with the Chicago Bulls. They got their big man Derrick Rose back.
Litely.
Yeah, they needed them.
I'm scared to see actually Derrick Rose get back on the court with the ACL tear. The cuts that he do, and I'm a little scared for him there. Yeah. Because I don't want to see him go down again.
I think he'll definitely play a little not as hard as he did, just favoring his knee. But we'll see how he does. We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, so far he's Derrick Rose. He has that leadership impact for the Bulls. I mean, the game-winning shot, the first game of the season for them, which helped boost them to get a victory early on in the season. He is faulting himself for how they've been playing lately, but, I mean, you don't really expect him to come out full force with the ACL injury, like you were saying, Gary. I mean, he's going to have to ease himself back into game situations and conditioning that's involved with basketball, so give him a little bit of time in the season, and I think he'll do good.
And I had Chicago actually beating Miami to go to the finals this year.
Do you guys think that the Heat are the team to beat? And you said that the Bulls can compete with them, but is it Heat the team to beat?
Well, I think the Lakers are the team to beat. But, yeah, I think the Heat are. They're pretty much the best team that you can come against right now. There are teams following them that are just as good, but I think for right now, the Heat are the team to beat.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank our reporters for joining us for our panels today. And following the break, Gary and I will discuss 2 big games coming up in the week. And we'll take a look at the Falcons' weekend schedule. Well, the Falcon football team had Saturday off after losing their rivalry game to Toledo 2 weeks ago. But BG will travel to Miami to take on the Redhawks. After not playing for a week, Gary, how do you think that BG will do against the Redhawks?
Well, my prediction is BG wins in Miami. If Matt Johnson continues to lead the team, and just move their offense, I believe that they're going to win. Their defense is prolific. But the key is that the receivers have to actually catch the ball. They actually have to catch the ball, and I believe they're going to win.
I think even if the receivers stumble, they'll be fine. Miami's not been very good in the MAC this year, so I think that it's an easy win for BG, but they can't look past it at the same time as well.
Well, we'll discuss earlier in the show that the men's basketball team had their exhibition this weekend, but their first game of the regular season starts on Friday. The Falcons will welcome the Earlham Quakers to the Stroh. How do you think the game will go for the Falcons?
I think that this is a good win for the it'll be a good win for the Falcons. They had a good showing during their scrimmage. Being Earlham's a Division III team, I don't think it'll be a warm-up game for when they travel to South Florida next week.
First game, always excited.
Yeah.
Definitely, with the win.
It'll definitely knock a rust off anyone that still has some on them, but we'll see.
There's a couple new players as well.
Yeah. Well, as usual, there's another weekend full of packed sports. Staying home to play in the women's volleyball team, the Falcons will take on Ohio University at 7. On Saturday, the men's basketball team has their first game of the regular season when they host Earlham Quakers at 2. Following that game, volleyball will take the court again to play Kent State Golden Flashes.
There are 2 teams traveling away for the Nest this weekend. The men's soccer team will head to West Virginia to compete against the Bobcats at 7. Then the ice hockey team will make their way down to Minnesota State to play on Friday and Saturday. The games are at 7 Center Standard Time. Well, that's all we have today for BG24 Sports. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for BG24 News with Madeline Finnick and Dominique Hicks.
If you have any comments or suggestions, visit our website at bg24news.org or our Facebook page at facebook.com/BG24Sports. I'm Christy Kopanis.
And I'm Gary Galbraith. Have a good night, everyone.